Hello everybody, welcome to this week's video. Today we're looking at the Nissan, I always say Nissan, but I think it's Nissan or Nissan Pathfinder. Ooh, right across the back. This is the, I hesitate to call it a special edition, but the off-road variant, the Rock Creek edition, comes with four-wheel drive. So this version of the Pathfinder was introduced in 2022. They made some key changes to the Pathfinder. One, they made it prettier, which is good because the last couple of generations of Pathfinder, depending on what your opinion is, they were kind of ugly. The second generation, I think it was a Gen 2 Pathfinder, is my favorite. I always loved that truck. I just thought it was great. And it had all the off-road equipment. It was proper. Always enjoyed that. And then they strayed away from that. They made made it into a family-friendly SUV, 7 pass, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, for a long time, it always felt like the Pathfinder didn't know what it was. This generation is a little more back to form, I think. I drove a 2022 version about a year and a half ago, really liked it. And this is obviously a 23, but with the Rock Creek spec. What do you get with Rock Creek? Well, you get Rock Creek badges. You get 18-inch wheels with all-terrain tires, which actually look really cool. As everybody has commented, these look like bead lockers on the wheels, but they're not. They're just, divots. But hey, that's cool. It'd be cool if they were bead lockers. It would sort of lend this thing real off-road credibility. As it is, they're just 18-inch wheels. What I do like is the sidewall. You get about 5 inches of sidewall there, and that's cool. That tells you that you could actually take this thing on an aggressive gravel road if you wanted to. So that's good to see. Some of the off-road variants, if you will, of other SUVs come with like 20s, 21s, and you got, that much tire. Another thing you get is this roof rack, which is actually kind of cool. I like that. You could probably attach all sorts of gubbins to that. Put a big, like a low cage on it and hold all your crap up there while you explore the world. So that's nice to see, actually. That's cool. I like that. That's a good addition. This generation of the Pathfinder is actually quite pretty. I like the way it looks. It's got these sort of narrow LED projector, or whatever the hell they are, headlights that you see on so many cars these days, and it looks good on this one. You get a bespoke grille with the Rock Creek edition, as you might expect. Kind of funny, this thing. I don't know why half of it's blocked, half of it's open. A little weird, but you do you. As long as it doesn't overheat, I guess it's fine. The fog lights down here, etc. Lots of black plastic on this thing. You all know how I feel about black plastic. It doesn't look horrible on this, to be honest. It doesn't look as bad as it does on, say, the Mazda CX-30 or anything from Subaru. So it's okay. It's about 3 inches of plastic. It isn't too bad. I guess, all these off-road variants, they like to put that on there because it gives them an excuse to save a few bucks by not painting it. It would be nice if it was painted. You could have a contrast color here and then body color Pathfinder writing, but whatever, I'm not a car designer. And yeah, that's the Pathfinder. Gotta say, reminds me of the Explorer, one of its primary competitors, or a competitor, I suppose. Kind of in the back here, I don't know what it is. It just, maybe I'm wrong, you tell me, but it looks like a little like the Explorer, that little spoiler thing on the back here. I don't know, it just reminds me of the current generation Explorer, for what that's worth. Let's take a look at the back, shall we? See what's going on back there. Powered liftgate, always nice to see, very off-roady. Sorry, the third row is down. I meant to have those up. We can do that. There we go. Pull those up. There we are. See? I'm a man. All right. So with a third row in place, you get a little parcel shelf back here. And that's about it. Not a boatload of space, if I'm honest. You do get, in the Rock Creek edition, you get these bespoke Rock Creek mats. This is kind of a weird trend. I think I saw it on the Escalade as well, where they protect the back of the seat, the third row seat, with these things. So when you have them down, you can slide stuff on them without damaging the carpet. Kind of like that, actually, as long as they stay in place. Sometimes the Velcro or whatever it is that's supposed to hold it there doesn't do its job, but this actually, it works. I've been using this for 3 or 4 days and it's fine, no issues. So that's cool. I like that. That's nice. Do we get anything underneath here? I haven't even looked yet. Yep, you get a huge storage cubby down here. So for your laptop when you're driving in the office, sorry, your off-road equipment when you're out in the bush, you got a place to store it. Okay. So as you noticed, this is a 3-row. Specifically, it's an 8-passenger, 8-passenger? Yeah, 8-passenger 3-row SUV. Look at that. Wow. Okay, so to access to the third row, especially on these slightly smaller 3-row SUVs, is always a nightmare for the most part. This one, you just hit that little button and it kind of kneels and slides forward. And it's not bad, actually, truth be told. Especially for, you know, smaller humans, they can get right in there, no problem. Do you guys want to watch as a not small human crawls into the back seat? Hey, here we go. I warned you. Okay, here we go. Headrest up. And what do we got for space back here? Well, holy shit. Okay, so the answer to how much space do we have? Not a lot. I'm, for reference, 5'8". That seat is in a pretty comfortable position. The one up front, the second row. So, you know, it's not sliding too far. It's not taking up the back space. There's not a lot of space back here. This third row is a tough one. You could probably get a couple of inches and you could tolerate it, but strictly for kids or for the marketing people to sell it as a as an 8 pass. Yeah, you'd have to find some asses smaller than mine to fit 3 people in this back row. Holy smokes. Cool thing you do get, since we're here, is cup holders built in, USB port. That's about it. But yeah, I don't know. For kids back here, they could kill some hours back here. Why not? And then if you need to get out, I do like the fact that this is here. And there you go. Now, you can make man noises as I get myself out of the back. The third, oh, excuse me. Oh, yes. Okay, so we'll get to that. So this is the second row, obviously. Sorry, that was exhausting. My God. So the second row, pardon me, is actually seated a little higher. It's almost stadium seating of sorts from the front row, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if there was a design reason for that or if it's just aesthetic, but I kind of like it. Something else I like are these cup holders in the door. I think was it the Honda Passport that had those? I didn't like much about that car, but I think it was in that car. Let's assume it was. So you get cup holders in the door itself, which is cool. I like that. And the door itself, the door panel is quite thick, which is neat. I don't know, it lends it a certain solidity, doesn't it? And they're not small either. You could fit an oversized cup of coffee in there, no problem. All right, what do we got? We have more cup holders. Look at this. 2 more cup holders in the center. Whatever the hell this slot's for, I never did figure that out. If you know, go ahead and tell me what an idiot I am and then tell us what the hell it's for. You'll notice no sunroof. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then you get full environmental controls, charging, all that kind of stuff in the middle. Yeah, it's a pretty decent back seat, or middle seat, isn't it? Lots of leg room. So yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, you could slide that seat forward a little bit more. But yeah, that third row, I don't know about that. Oh, air vents up here. Cool. I just noticed those. That's what my kids were playing with yesterday. Neat. Excellent. Where's it? There it is. Okay. Gotta say, I do like the back row. The choice of plastics and colors here. All soft touch. This, I don't know if it shows up on camera. It's got the door trim here and some other stuff. It has this rather nice looking plastic. I'm not gonna say any of this is high quality, but it's not ugly at least, which is good. Look at this door. Look how thick that door is. That's nice. I like that. That's all right. Weird closing sound, but that's okay. So when we come up to the front, one thing I wanted to talk about was this stuff they've got on the door here. I think Nissan is now describing this as leatherette. Basically, it's like a PVC or whatever the hell it is. Same stuff as in my wife's Nissan Kicks, 2019 Kicks. And I hate it in that car, and I do not like to see it here. Not pleasant. Somewhere else you get cheap faux whatever upholstery is, faux leather upholstery is here on the bolsters and the upper section here on the seats with contrast color stitching. That all looks fine. I like the Rock Creek logo, I do, or emblem or whatever the hell it is. But this stuff, it just doesn't feel very good. Again, it's in my wife's Kicks and I don't like it at all. I will say after 4 years of having that car, it's relatively durable, so I'll give it that. But I don't know. I just don't like the way it looks or feels. What you do get is a fabric mesh insert here. Listen to that. Yeah, fabric upholstery. Why you couldn't do the whole seat like that, I don't know. You are capable of it, Nissan. In the Frontier, you had decent fabric upholstery in that whole thing, but this, not so much. It's weird. I don't know what to make of that. So as we get into the front seat, so you'll remember I noticed, or I commented, pardon me, no sunroof. No sunroof in this car. You can get them in other trims, but in the Rock Creek version, you just get a regular roof. Go figure. Inside, let's fire up the car, shall we? There we go. So inside, sort of business as usual. You get analog left and right, and then a little digital display in the middle that you can tinker with and put your various bits and pieces up there. It's perfectly fine. It's very Nissan. You've seen it on 100 different cars, to be honest. Steering wheel arrangement's nice. There's a little bit of piano black up here, but the contact surfaces are matte black, so they're going to hold up okay. The same cannot be said for the infotainment. Settle down. The infotainment area here and whatnot. It's a lot of shiny black. Holy smokes. I think the Armada had the same amount kind of thing, so they probably borrowed some design features from that. I like all the functionality, the HVAC, the volume buttons, etc., all that stuff. It's good. But all this piano black, my God, that is a lot, to be honest. I mean, some people I'm sure like it. They must, right? That's why they keep making cars with this stuff in it. Lots of it. It's not my thing. The infotainment system, you get what has become kind of the ubiquitous Nissan mid-range infotainment, 8-inch screen. It gives you get, this one comes equipped with, well, if you get a Rock Creek, it has the 360 camera system. It's a little meh. You know, it actually looks pretty good today because it's a reasonably sunny day. But on dark days, it gets pretty grainy. But you do get 360 cameras. Yeah, it's okay. It's just not great. You know, if you want great, like really great infotainment systems, you got to go to the Hyundai for that. They knock it out of the park. Why everything can't be HD on this, I do not know. But you do get most of what you're looking for. So as far as I can tell, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both wired only. I could not get it to work wirelessly, and sometimes it didn't want to work wired either, but maybe that's a me thing, who knows. You get a center console, you get a center console, 12 volt down there, a couple of USBs down there, regular USB, USB-C, a little thing here that would have been good for a charging pad, but it's not a charging pad, probably because the system's wired, so you're going to plug it anyway, whatever. Center console, this electronic shifter is sort of interesting. Yeah, it's fine. Like, I don't mind it necessarily. It takes a little getting used to, but you do get used to it. Sometimes when you put it into park, it automatically puts the e-brake on. Other times it doesn't. Maybe it's an angle thing or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, you get your cup holders, etc. Shift control, mode control. So it's got basically a mode for every mood, as it were. But you get your sport, eco, towing, hill descent control. So if you actually took this thing up a mountain and had to go down the other side, you could pop that on and just let it carry you down, which is cool. You wouldn't cook your brakes. And I'm going to assume that works because I don't have a chance to take this into the mountains. But there you go. So center console, decent sized. Holds my wallet, as you can tell. And there it is. That's the interior. Yeah, it's okay. To be honest, it's okay. But that's it. It doesn't, I don't know, it's a shame actually. It doesn't blow me away, which I wanted it to, because I like the Pathfinder. It's one of those cars from my childhood, you know what I mean? The Gen 2, I think it's the Gen 2. The one in the 90s? Yeah, not the first one, because that one was kind of, but even that was okay compared to some of the more recent generations. But this one is, but the Gen 2, I loved that thing. Coworker of mine had one, 5-speed manual, 4-wheel drive, etc. It was top shelf. Shall we drive? Let's do it, shall we? Turn the e-brake off, and away we go. So, the 2023 Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek Edition. What does it cost? Well, here in Canada, at least, I think there are a few more options down in the US, but here in Canada, you get one car. It has basically one trim level, like it is its own self-contained trim level. This is what it looks like. As far as I could tell, building one online, you only get one color, this sort of tan color, which is called Baja Storm. Sounds like a character from American Gladiators in the 80s, huh? But yeah, you can only have the Rock Creek edition in this like brownie tanny color. Interesting choice. Not sure it's something I would have done, but that's, you know, I don't design the cars. So unless I'm wrong, but I believe that this is the only color you can get it in. So it's not a bad color. I actually don't mind it at all. I would just like some options. So this package, this vehicle with that package attached, comes in right around $55,000. You know, I mean, for 8-passenger SUVs with, you know, off-road pretensions, it's not a bad price point, to be honest. It does also, though, bring it into the firing line of many, many other cars. There are a lot of choices when it comes to this type of a vehicle. You know, specifically off the top of my head, I mean, you could do the Explorer Timberline. Is that what it's called? The Timberline version, which is about the same price point, roughly speaking. The Kia Telluride X-Line, which is their off-road variant. Again, that's a little bit more money. But again, sort of, you know, their off-road variant of that car. I will state that has a much nicer interior. You get much nicer bits and pieces in it. So give that some thought in this particular category. I think the Pilot, the Trail Sport, if I remember that name correctly. And on down the line, I mean, there's just so many of them. And they're all, you know, I mean, they're all road-going, you know, pavement cruising vehicles that have some bits and pieces attached to them. None of them are built specifically for off-roading purposes. A lot of manufacturers just don't do that anymore. You know, and it's fine. I mean, you could buy probably a cheaper model and be just fine with it. This one, I mean, it does come with those 18-inch rims, which gives you all that sidewall to work with, which is useful actually when you're out in the bush. You know, you can air down and, you know, it's, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And that roof rack is good too. So some thought was given to making this thing a little more actually bespoke. But there it is. So for $55,000, you have lots of choices. But let's talk about this one specifically. Is this thing any good? Yes and no. I liked the Pathfinder when I drove it as a brand new model last year and a half ago now. I liked, I mean, all new model, right? It still has that 3.5 liter engine that they've been making since 1963. But you know, they added a proper automatic transmission, which is really cool to see. The CVTs they'd had in the previous couple of generations of this thing, oh boy, you know, just horrible, right? And Nissan in particular does not do CVTs well. That is just simple fact. One of these days they're going to abandon them completely. I promise you that will happen. In the meantime, they'll try to avoid class action lawsuits and recalls. And then, yeah, I enjoyed that driving experience. I truly did. It was, yeah, it felt like a really, really good car to drive. This one is different, and I can't figure out why that is. In this Rock Creek edition, you do get a few specific changes to the suspension. You know, they've tinkered with that a little bit to make it more off-road friendly. You get like a 1/2 inch lift or something like that, and that's about it. But it feels like when you drive this thing, like it's always kind of almost in 4 high, you know, or if I don't know. It's very wallowy, you know, and that's not always bad. Yeah, it's weird the way it drives, and I tried to figure out if I had it in the wrong drive mode, if I'd done something wrong. I didn't. It doesn't drive like the previous one that I drove, but they should be identical, shouldn't they? Or close to it anyway. So I'm not sure what has changed on this one. It just, you know, it's a very comfortable car to drive, but it does pitch and wallow. After I make a left turn here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. It pitches and wallows a lot, which, you know, yeah, I don't know. It just, yeah, again, maybe it has to do with the fact that it's set up for off-road, but here, watch. So we're on this road, there's no police, right? We're good, okay. So it, you know, goes all, holy shit, okay, slow down. Like it does, you know, yeah, the suspension is different on this one than it is on a standard road-going model. That much I know, because the other one didn't do it like that. It was a bit more locked in. So maybe if you know what the issue is, let me know. Hit me up in the comments, because I don't I don't know. I couldn't get an answer on that one. I broke my own rule actually, and I watched other review videos because I try not to do that because I don't want to be, borrowing anybody's ideas subconsciously. But I wanted to see if anybody else commented on it, and nobody did. So I don't know. Maybe, yeah, it's weird. I have eased into it a little bit. I've gotten used to how it drives. It just feels different. That much I am certain of. Moving on, what do you get for power plant? Well, you get that 3.5 liter V6 that, as I mentioned, Nissan has been making for, I mean, seriously, it's got to be almost 25 years. I think I can't remember what the engine code is, but it's been around a long time. And they've made it to a new 9-speed auto, which is good. Very nice. You get 200 and, damn, I forgot. About 280 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, roughly speaking. It's not, in a vehicle this size, to be honest, it's probably not enough. The vehicle is not underpowered, but it does not get off to a start very quickly. I'm going to put it into, here, I'm going to pull over here for a sec. I just want you guys to feel what it's like when you mat this thing. And I'll even put it in sport mode, which is a bit of an oxymoron when it comes to a vehicle like this. But here, let's pull over because there's no policeman around. And we'll put it into sport. Where is it? There it is. So sport. See? Red equals sport. Okay, so 3, 2. Remind me to tell you about the auto on off. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Right down. So you will have heard a wonderful shrill or trill from this thing, but that's about it. It's a big car. And it needs just a little more grunt, and when you put it in sport mode, I drove it in sport mode for 2 days. Oh boy, did she get thirsty. So, yeah, it did a little more power, a little more refinement, maybe. I think that 3.5 liter is probably going to have to be retired at some point. I'm not sure it's going to cut the mustard anymore. So yeah, anyway, there you go. I don't know. Does this work as an off-roader? I'm sure you could take it off-road, but if you're going to spend $55,000, I mean, get a Jeep, get a Bronco, get a 4Runner. 4Runner's kind of tamed now too, but anyway, I mean, there are other options well in the same price range that are actually built to go off-road. If you insist on the SUV shape as opposed to a like a pickup truck. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would buy this one. The 8 pass is it's just a marketing term. It's not a real thing, is it? You're not going to get 8 people in this thing, not comfortably anyway, and certainly not for a long journey. I would have preferred second row captain's chairs and then just 2 seats in the back. I think that makes more sense. But what are you going to do? Yeah, so that's the Pathfinder. The Rock Creek edition, 2023 Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. Yeah, it's got lots of badges on it, and it's got a decent set of tires, although they do generate lots of road noise, but that's okay. That's what they're for. All terrains, baby. All right, kids, that's going to do it for me. Post up down below, etc., etc. But more importantly, enjoy your day, and we'll see you guys on the next one.